what I also want to tell you guys is that, I once heard somebody say, if you truly want to master something, start teaching it. If you truly want to master something, start teaching it, which is in a lot of ways is so counterintuitive, right? Most of us wait until we master something before we teach it. And as I look at my life, like, with opening Yoga One, my yoga studios, we've opened Yoga One. I've never taught a yoga class in my life. I just like, oh, I love the idea and I'm just going to do it. I never taught yoga before. We just went ahead and opened the yoga studio and learned along the way. And in a way, this is how I live my life. Roger and I jump because we truly believe that when you jump, after you jump, that's when the net appears. So this course, Become a Manifest Coach, is kind of at that. Right? You're jumping and know that as you jump, the net will appear. And also, like, I invite you to kind of make it your own in any area of your life. If you desire, if you dream about something, like Victoria said, create a business that she can run successfully from home. You can't wait until you line up all your ducks in a row, until you have a perfectly prepared plan and strategy and all of that. It may never happen. My life philosophy is jump and then it will appear. If you want to master something, start teaching it. So many of you were like, well, I don't know if I want to be a coach. I just want to learn the stuff. Yes, one of the best ways to learn anything is to start teaching it. Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I want to tell you about 4 stages of spiritual development. And this is actually a part of your bonus material. So I'm going to go through it a little bit quickly. And if you want to learn more in depth, it's a part of your bonus materials. And on a separate note, I understand that I'm a little bit special like this. Anything that I do it at 110%. And I usually read the same book at least 5 or 6 times. I tend to reread the same books every 6 months. If I sign up for an online course, I usually repeat that course 5, 6, 7 times. If I do a teacher training with Annie and I have the same teacher, Anna Forrest. I spent a decade of my life traveling around the world with her, assisting her trainings, doing her trainings over and over again. So I truly believe that repetition is a mother of skill. Repetition is the mother of skill. If you want to have the results, you have to have the discipline. And the first time, I believe that, at least me, when I hear something the first time, I don't hear all of it. And I notice that if I come back to the same audiobook or to the same training 6 months from now, I hear things that I never heard before. So even if you heard me speak about these 4 stages of spiritual development, remember, like, keep your learner's mindset, because it's possible that today you'll hear something that you've never heard before. So the 4 stages of spiritual development I learned from Michael Beckwith. And I like how he put it in such a simple yet profound way. So we all go through these 4 stages, and these stages may not be, they're not necessarily linear. In other words, we can be really evolved in some areas of our lives and be really unevolved in other areas of our lives, usually around our family, or usually around people who are closest to us. Just like Ram Dass said so many years ago, you think you're enlightened? Go hang out with your family for a week. Yeah, so like your family is going to push every single button that you have. Like my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, is the only person in the whole world who can, like, I don't want to say she makes me, but in her presence, I can in a split second go from absolutely calm and serene and like, namaste, to like, nobody in the world can push my buttons like she can. Okay. So the first stage of spiritual development is the victim stage. And I think if we all look back in our lives, we can identify the time and the area of our lives when we were in the stage, the victim stage. Sadly, unfortunately, the vast majority of the world lives in this victim stage, and they never evolve. They never evolve to the next stage. They spend their whole life in this stage of their spiritual development. In the victim stage, we think that our outside circumstances dictate the way we live our lives. So people say things like, oh, the economy is the reason why my business is failing, or coronavirus is the reason why this and that, or all men are, all women are, my ex-husband is this and that. We think that it's like our mean boss is the reason why I'm not getting a promotion at work. My lazy employees is the reason why I can't succeed in my business, and so on and so forth. We incorrectly believe that our outside circumstances dictate the way we live our lives. It is actually backwards. We get to create our own reality, but that's the second stage of the spiritual development. Let me tell you a little bit more about the victim stage. In the victim stage, we tend to blame others. We tend to blame the outside circumstances. We tend to be really resentful. We experience anger. We experience grudges, unforgiveness. We hold on to our grudges, unwilling to forgive something or someone. And, even if you think that you're really evolved, consider that there may be some patterns in your life that you may not be fully aware of, right? Or you think you fully forgave that person or forgive yourself. There is a possibility that maybe you didn't let go completely. Maybe you didn't forgive wholeheartedly. And a part of your daily practice is forgive and let go as much as you can today. You know what I mean? To this day, I do some of the meditation practices that I teach to help people to, evolve past the stage. And to this day, I'll do a meditation. I come back to my favorite meditations over and over again. And then inevitably a person would pop up and I would be like, I already did so much work around this person. I can't believe this person is still coming up. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, so in this stage, when we blame others, when we blame the outside circumstances, when we hold on to blame, resentment, and grudge, that resentment takes up a tremendous amount of our energetic bandwidth. So we have this amount of energy, right? If you really master the skills, you can tap into the infinite source of energy. And yet, most of us experience life as we have this much energy. So whether or not you realize it, resentment, unforgiveness, grudges take up a colossal amount of our energetic bandwidth. And because of that, it's possible that we experience life as something really hard. Moreover, that resentment, that grudge, that unforgiveness, it becomes a block. It is a block to our manifesting power. It's like a giant blockage in the effortless flow of goodness in our lives, whatever that is. The flow of it's possible. I'm just bear with me. It's possible that on some level, the reason why you are unable to meet the love of your life and create a thriving intimate relationship, it's possible that on some level, because we're all interconnected, it's because you haven't fully forgiven that person that did, caused you a lot of pain many, many years ago. I'm not saying it is because of that, but on some level it is, because we're all interrelated, we're all one. On the energetic level, we're all one, right? We're a part of one quantum field. It's possible that you're not experiencing this, prosperity and abundance in your life. The business is not thriving because on some level, in some area of your life, you haven't fully let go. You're still holding on to that resentment, that anger, that blame, that unforgiveness, that grudge. Just know that everything in this world is interrelated. This is why we do this process of self-inquiry and self-work. So because these low-level vibrations, these emotions like blame, anger, resentment, they block the flow of goodness in our lives, it becomes very difficult for us to experience effortless ease. And then as a result, life becomes really hard. We walk through life being constantly tired, resentful, we're sad, we're depressed, and then inevitably you hear people saying things like, oh, it's so hard, like succeeding or like making a career, it's so hard. Getting a promotion in this economic reality is so hard. Growing your business is impossible right now during coronavirus. Or marriage is so hard. Dating is so hard. Losing weight is so hard. Eating healthy is so hard. Parenting is so hard. Have you ever heard people say that? Have you ever said that? Oh, it's so hard. Now consider now that when you catch yourself saying things like that, you can catch yourself and take a deep breath and be like, oh, Bina, it's so great that you caught yourself. Let's take two. Let's rephrase it. Let's say it in a different way. Oh, that word hard may be a signal that right now in this moment, on some level, you are in the victim mindset. And the reason why, this is the very first stage, because most people live in the stage without ever realizing, they don't even know that something else is possible. And that something else is when you realize that you actually get to create your own reality. And it's all up to you. You always have a choice. In the victim mindset, people think that they don't have a choice. They only see the world as this or that. And when you only have two things, it's not a choice, it's an ultimatum. That's why I always coach everybody, look for at least the third option. Because the moment it becomes three things to choose from, you are in choice. There is always at least one more option. When you only see two, it's an ultimatum. But ultimately, there are so many different possibilities. There are so many different options to choose from. But we box ourselves in, literally on even subconscious level. We're not even conscious of that. We're unable, in the victim mindset, we're unable to see all the choices, all the possibilities that have always been right here under our noses. It's like, I'm going to talk about how our brain works, like reticular activation system. Let me give you a quick example. It just wants to be said right now. Have you ever been in a situation where, like my kids, my youngest one, she's kind of lazy. She just likes to lay around and play Roblox on her phone. And if I ask her to do anything, she's like, and she's a preteen. I get it. It's pulling teeth asking me to do anything. So a lot of times I'd be like, say, for example, hey, go and bring me, let's just say X, Y, and Z. Bring me some salt. Or bring me a sriracha. It's right there on the shelf in the kitchen. First, she's like, oh, I don't want to go. Let Karina go. I don't know where it is. And then I'm like, get your ass up and go bring me that sriracha from the kitchen. It's on the shelf. And she begrudgingly gets up and goes, and she looks at the shelf, and she does not see sriracha in front of her. Now, this is the way our brain works. Do her eyes see sriracha? Because I know sriracha is right there on the shelf in the kitchen. Absolutely. Her eyes see the hot sauce, but her brain is not registering because she is like, I don't want to go, I don't want to do it. So literally, even though her eyes see the hot sauce, her brain is not even registering it. So can you relate to that? So is there certain things that you really don't want to do and you make yourself do it and then it just doesn't work out? It's because on some subconscious level, this is the way your brain works. Your resistance is preventing you from accomplishing something, doing something with effortless ease. So this is what I do, guys. No matter what, especially if it's like a creation process or something really important, if I feel any sort of resistance to it, if I feel any sort of, like, remember, your body is innately intelligent. When you learn to really connect with your body on the visceral level, it will always, that resistance will always feel like a contraction, like a tightness. So whenever I feel that resistance, I don't even start doing it. So I do all my juju, all the tools that I'm going to teach you. You know, sometimes I meditate, sometimes I do my incantations, sometimes I pray. I do whatever I need to do, mind gyms, you know, I do it all until I feel integrated, 100% whole, and then I sit down and do it. Otherwise, I know it's just either it's not going to happen at all, or I'm going to have so much, like, it's going to be hard. You know, doing it, it's hard. Why did I go on this tangent? Anyway, I just lost my track of thought. So
because we needed to hear it, that's why.
Right? Yeah, yes. If you needed to hear it, give me some jazz hands. Yeah, so these processes is not just like manifesting, it's like real life shit. Like, this is what you do in your mundane stuff every single day. This is why I use these tools all the time. So the second stage of our spiritual development is the manifestor stage, or make it happen stage.
Albina, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
First stage, if we're going to become coaches of this,
yes,
and you know somebody who is so stuck in stage one, how do you unstuck them?
Yeah, I mean, you don't say, oh, right now you are totally in a victim stage. That's not going to work. That is absolutely not going to work. And there are so many different tools that you can use. And this is why you lean on your intuition. And sometimes you're going to have to try many, many different tools that are in your toolbox to help them shift and get into the flow of things. Do you mind, Annie, if we come back to that a little bit later?
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, so we can, so the way I want to lead this course a little bit, I want to first present the material to you, and then I demonstrate it to you, and then you get to do it with each other. At least this is how I envision it. Let's see how it's going to happen in reality. So I've never led this class before, so I'm really excited and curious to see how it unfolds. So in the first stage of our spiritual development, in the victim mindset, we experience life as things happen to me. Things happen to me. The economy is, you know, causing this, and in other words, you feel helpless, right? You feel like you cannot do anything. It's literally to me stage. Whatever it is, like maybe you say, oh God, it's punishing me. These things are happening to me. My horoscope, you know, they're whatever. People say like the most ridiculous things. This is my karma or whatever. People just like find ways to justify their helplessness or their inability to step up and actually move on to the next step of their stage of spiritual development. And like I said, you know, there are certain areas of my life where I catch myself in the victim mindset. Like anytime stuff comes up with my baby brother, I oftentimes catch myself in the victim mindset. I would say the most ridiculous things like, why do I have to support him financially? Or why do I have to take care of him? Why do I have to go and rescue him again? He's a grown man. So in that moment, it's a trigger for me. Remember how I said, you think you're enlightened, go hang out with your family? So with my little brother, I often catch myself, and it takes all the tools that I have in my arsenal to literally drag myself out of that mindset. So in the second stage, is this manifestor stage, and the stage is called by me. In other words, in this stage, we realize that we actually have all the power. Our thoughts, our actions, our non-actions, the way we see the world, our energetic vibration, the filter through which we see the world determines the reality. We shape our destiny. We create the reality that we live in. This course is all about this stage. So everything that I'm going to be sharing with you is for you to to be in this stage, right? In this stage, we get to stabilize all the major areas of our lives. This is when you manifest your dream life, whether it comes to your ultimate health and well-being, whether it comes to your intimate relationships, your marriage, your partnership, your love-filled relationship, right? Your soulmate partner, whether it is starting and growing your business, whether it is figuring out what is your higher calling, your vocation, your contribution into the world, or it is about making money and creating abundance and stepping into prosperity. Whatever the thing is that you desire, in this stage, you realize that you can have it all. You can experience it all, right? Because you and only you shape your reality. And sometimes people say, well, Albina, like, you know, I never chose this terrible thing to happen to me. You know, it was not, is this thing just happened, you know, like I was a kid and this horrible trauma happened. You're telling me that I somehow manifested it. And to that I say, look, shit happens to all of us. It is a part of the human experience to have problems, to have trauma. Every single one of us on this earth will go through hardship, has gone through hardships, through trials, through challenges, through really dark stuff. Every single, I mean, maybe on different levels, you know, of problems and bad stuff, but every single person on this earth goes through problems and challenges. It is what we make out of those problems and challenges that shapes your destiny. The meaning that you make out of things shapes your destiny and creates the reality that you live. If something bad happened to you many, many years ago, and as a result, as you go through life as, oh, poor me, you know, oh, my parents died when I was 7 years old. I was an orphan. I never experienced love, you know, because of that, whatever, I'm unable to be in a happy, thriving relationship, blah, blah, blah. On some level, you are in the victim mindset, right? But if you look at it as like, dang, because of that thing that happened, I am who I am today. I am powerful. I am, you know, I make things happen. I'm resilient. I'm resourceful. I'm unstoppable. So it's what you make out of that thing that happened, or as a matter of fact, out of anything in life, the meaning that you make out of that thing determines everything. And in that, every single one of us has choice. We may not have choice over those things that happen to us, but every single one of us has a choice as to what meaning we make out of it. Are you with me? Give me some hands up if you're with me. So this course is when we go deep into the manifester mindset. In this stage, we use it all. Meditation. I use hypnosis, you guys. I go and I do all these exercises, these practices that help me tap into my subconscious mind, because subconscious mind is the queen. Believe it or not, everything that you think, experience, see, don't see, do, don't do, feel, don't feel, is all controlled by your subconscious mind. So if we get time, we'll get to that. We'll see. Well, I surrender into the hands of divine. If a perfect opportunity comes, I'm going to share with you the exercises I do that help me tap into my subconscious mind. But it's everything from meditations to hypnosis to affirmations, incantations, declarations, miracle integrations, prayer, Ho'oponopono, journaling, all of it. Everything that I'm going to share with you in this course is helping you to truly embody and master these manifesting skills. This is the stage where you literally create the life of your dreams. The third stage of our spiritual development is it's called through me. Through me. And you know, there are many different paths to spiritual growth. You know, my path, I feel like it's yoga. You know, through yoga, you go through these stages. The third stage is when you realize that the moment you surrender, the moment you let go of control, the moment you realize that you are not in control, you surrender. It's a conscious choice. Then the divine, the universe, the quantum field can work through you and as you. This is when you realize that you are a channel, a vessel for the divine. I have so many mind-blowing miracle stories that happened to me that literally, like, remember I said many different areas of your life, you can be really involved in some areas and really uninvolved in other areas of your life. And in this stage of my life, I know that, you know, every day consciously I make a decision. In this course, I was preparing for this course tonight. My prayer is, God, work through me and as me. You know, shine your light, your wisdom, your love through me and as me. So we've all experienced being a channel for the divine. It's those moments when we feel in the flow. Have you ever been in a situation when things just happened? A moment of synchronicity. It's the moment when, like, maybe you didn't expect it, but it just happened. So let me give you an example. Like, I like to think of that moment as the moment I walked into La Strada in Houston and I met my husband. That was a moment of complete synchronicity, divine guidance. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like if you're a runner, and I'm not a runner, but I do run. And I was like always thinking, like, what, a runner's high? I don't know what you're talking about. And yet recently, like, I start running, and at some point when I push through, like, oh, I'm tired, oh, it's too hot, oh, my feet hurt, then I get to feel this flow as though, like, I don't even feel my body. I just feel this lightness. It's like as if I feel like I'm connected with everything and everyone. Are you with me? Do you know what I'm talking about? We all have experienced moments when that we became a channel, right? If you're do something creatively, you know, like if I'm writing a book right now, and there are moments sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning when I write my book, I just feel like the words come through me, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if that's me writing. Like, I feel like something else is coming through me. So it's the third stage of spiritual development, is when you realize that you're a channel. You're a vessel for the divinity to express itself through you. This stage is called through me, when you surrender. And surrender is always a conscious choice. As a matter of fact, we all have free will. We all have free will. We all have choice. And there is a process that I'm going to teach you today that hopefully will illustrate that to you. That I'm going to come back to that. So we all have free choice, not even the divine, not even God, not the universe. Nobody can violate that free will. So your choice to progress through your spiritual development, it doesn't happen to you. You decide consciously yourself. This is why this whole process is called the magic of co-creation with the divine, the magic of co-creation with the universe. It's not all the divine, it's not all God, nor is it all you, it's together. The Buddhists call it interdependent co-arising. Interdependent co-arising, as viewed, so appears. As you see the world, if you see the world as something hard, as a struggle, the world is you're gonna experience your life and the world as something hard and a struggle. If you see life as a journey, as an adventure, you're gonna live your life as an adventure. If you perceive the world as viewed, so if you see the world that everything is abundant, that everything comes to you with effortless ease, so will become your experience. Interdependent co-arising. Okay, the fourth stage of spiritual development is ultimately when every single religion of the world, the practice of yoga is all about. This is when we remember that we're all one. We're one with the divine. We're one with each other. We're one with everything and everyone in this world, right? We're a part of one quantum field. There is no separation. As a matter of fact, the root of all suffering is that perceived separation. The moment we separate from love, the moment we separate from the divine, that's the moment we start suffering. So this is kind of like the fourth stage of our spiritual development is this realization that we have always been a part of one. We're always one with God. We remember, like in yoga, we say namaste. The light within me greets, salutes, admires the light within you, or the divine within me sees and recognizes the divine within you. And I think we all have had those moments when we experience that oneness with everything and everyone. Like to me, it's whenever, like we're here in the land of enchantment in Taos, New Mexico, anytime I go into the mountains, you know, like Roger and I hiked the Wheeler Peak the other day. It nearly killed us, that hike. But once we were at the top of the mountain, and it was just like 360 degrees of absolute breathtaking beauty. Like I felt that oneness with the divine. It was absolutely like worth the hike, 6.5 hour hike. Can you think of moments in your life when you felt the hand of God, when you felt that oneness with everything and everyone? It's like when you're in the flow, when you can feel it almost like viscerally, yes? Okay. I'm looking at my notes just to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything that I wanted to say. So I'm going to repeat myself again. This training is the main intention of this training is to help you really master the second stage, which is the manifest stage. I'm going to share with you all the tools, all the practices that I know that I've used in my own life to help you create the life of your desires. And also, I'm going to teach you, hopefully, how to teach this to others, how to share the light with others. Okay, let us all take a deep breath. Any questions so far? Any questions about 4 stages of
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead, Whitney.
What is Ho'oponopono?
Ho'oponopono. We're going to get to that. Hold your horses, sister.
You got me excited.
Ho'oponopono. Yes, Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian prayer. It goes like this. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. The power of these words is really, it's tremendously powerful prayer. And it works on many different levels. That's why we're going to, at some point of this course, we're going to go deep into Ho'oponopono, because it is a really powerful manifesting tool. And in order for you to use it as a manifesting tool, you have to first understand it. So absolutely in this course, we're going to go into Ho'oponopono. I'm also going to share with you all the magic that the Ho'oponopono brought into my life. I'm so excited to share this with you. So we're gonna get to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Albina, it's Jareen. What do you call the 4th stage of spiritual development?
Yeah, the 4th stage is when you it's called as me. The stage is called as me. So you realize that the divine God wants to express himself through you. You are a unique being. There has never been, nor there will ever be another being like you. You are the unique expression of the divine. And your whole purpose in this world is for the divine to express herself through you. It's like a surrender, but at the same time, it's also the 2 millimeter adjustment. The way I understand it is when you realize that the divine always wants to express herself through you. You know, and most people are like, oh, I hate my body. I'm so stupid. I'm not smart enough. I can't do it. I don't have the skills. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not successful enough. And in a way, it's like slapping God in the face, in my opinion. You know, like you are the expression of the divine. How can you treat yourself this way? And I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. We've all treated ourselves like crap and went through this, like the not enough thoughts and focusing on lack. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not good enough. We all have it. We've all been there. And that's why it's a path, right? It's a path. It's a path of spiritual growth. Good questions, y'all. Any other questions? Are you enjoying it? You're liking it? Give me some hands up. Yay.
Albina, this is Maria. I have a question about the intention.
Yes.
Why is it important that it is in a present tense? Why cannot be in the future?
So how do I keep it simple? I mean, there's so many layers to this manifest magic, right? So I need to stay focused and not to overwhelm you. I can talk about different dimensions of the quantum field. I can talk about different dimensions of time in the quantum field. Now, this is not the yogic, woohoo, new age bullshit. This is actually quantum physics. I'm not a quantum physicist, but I've read and studied this stuff enough that there is a reality, a dimension. So in other words, there is a dimension of reality where whatever it is that you want is already happening. Just like there is a different dimension of time. Time is not linear. Even though we experience time as something very linear, past, present, future. As human beings, we experience time as past, present, future, linear. Time is not linear. There are many different layers, dimensions of time. Now, this is quantum physics. I'm not making this up, guys. Now, when your words, and this is one of the things that we're going to talk about, it's on the agenda, your words have tremendous power. Your words create worlds. So through the power of your words, that's why for many of you, I coached you, I was like, say it with more passion. Say it using your physiology. Say it in such a way that you have absolute certainty this shit is already happening, because using all of your physiology right here and now, in a way, you're connecting to that dimension. Let me restate it for you differently. There is, right now, Maria Inés, if I were to coach you and go down the memory path, memory lane from your past, I guarantee you, I can talk you through some experience from your past, something bad that happened that will put you in a really shitty state right now. Why? It happened 20 freaking years ago. Because energetically, that thing that happened in the past has power over this moment here and now. This is why there are some stuff that I do in my other coaching. I don't know if we're going to have time in this one, where we do clearing a timeline. We clear, energetically, we clear that thing that happened in the past so it doesn't have that pull over you today, preventing you from living the life of your dreams. So similarly, your future, are you with me? Your future has energy. And when you say it in a particular way, in present tense, without using all of your physiology, using passion, using anticipation, using all this juice, you turn that possibility into a probability. Like you're stepping through the veil of time, a curtain of time, and you're literally pulling it in. I get so excited about this stuff. I get goosebumps. Does that kind of answer your question?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes. Words are very powerful. We're going to talk about words in a moment. Good questions, you guys. Good questions. Besides, words also have power. If you say, well, I hope then one day I'm going to write an international best-selling book, it sounds differently. I freaking write an international best-selling book. I write it. I will write it. Hopefully I will write it. Hopefully my book will become an international, versus my book is an international bestseller. Do you hear the way the words land on you differently? That's the power of the words.